Welcome back to the Ride Laugh podcast. If you love mountain biking, you are in the right place. Picture your last really fun group ride. You're back at the parking lot. The Stoke is high. Everyone's talking about bikes, tech, nutrition, jumps, drops, berms. That's what we do here every week on the Ride Laugh podcast. You love bikes. We love bikes. Let's drop in. Stagey, how are you today?
Oh boy, Danny, I tell you what, we going through a stretch of it right now, man. It's been rainy, windy, cold. Whew, it's hard to stay positive, bro. Hard.
Yeah. It's a mountain biker's dilemma when you can't get out and ride. And some of us have indoor trainers, and that's even more torture. We've had a lot of rain here in Arizona, actually, like a crazy amount of rain especially for Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I end up on a trainer doing these like brutally hard rides.
Yeah.
And then I'm like writing in the description, like, thanks, rain. But that happened in the Northeast all the time.
Oh my gosh.
The weather's bad, and now I got to do this incredibly difficult thing on my indoor trainer instead of going out for a ride, which could also be really difficult. But rides are so much more fun than trainers.
Question for you, because when I went to Arizona, I didn't get to experience any of this. What happens when it rains out there? Like around here, like if they're, first of all, in the fall, like the leaves are just like ice. It's just, it's so scary and dangerous. If it's rocks, it gets really slick because we have this like mossy coating on the rocks. Like it's like, it's a totally different, like what's it like in Arizona on like the desert floor when it gets
mud.
wet?
Most places get mud.
Yeah. What do you get?
Arizona, it puddles really quickly here because the ground isn't used to absorbing water. It's not good at absorbing water.
Yeah.
So you end up getting a fair amount of puddles, and then kind of like depending where you are, kind of like a wet sand. So wet sand is actually it actually has much better traction than the dry sand. So people get pretty excited when it rains here. I feel like the traction does increase a little bit. I went for a ride at South Mountain yesterday, and it had recently rained, and there were some puddles. And normally when you're done a ride here, like your bike's pretty clean. It's just dusty. You don't have to like wash off your bike here. But when there's puddles, you actually have a little bit of mud. There might be a little bit of debris, something on the bike, but the rocks seem to stay like relatively tacky.
Nice.
So it's pretty good. Yeah. Everything, it's weird because in the desert, everything is so consistent. The trails are always the same.
Right.
Oh, you know what we get? And they had a real problem with this with the monsoons is the sand is very easy to push. So you get a lot of ruts, and it moves the rocks around at the different places and that sort of thing. So that part's not really fun. The ruts are not fun at all. In fact, that's one of the reasons I fell on Mine Trail.
That's right.
It was actually raining, and I kind of fell into a rut as it was forming.
As it was forming. It's like a movie.
The rut tried to assimilate me. Into the trail. Like the Borg.
I just got like a visual of like you, AJ, and Vaughn like riding, and then the rut is like forming behind you. Like it's like this fault line that's opening up. You're like, go.
Oh man, that'd be a great moment for our AI animation team.
Oh man. Yes.
The action movie where you're running away from the fault as it forms, and like the last guy doesn't make it.
That's right. That was you.
AJ and Vaughn were like, woo, we made it. And meanwhile, Dan got sucked into the San Andreas fault. Never to be seen again. We lost one today, boys.
Oh boy. Yeah. Bam. Coming to a theater near you.
Good stuff.
Yes. The
spoiler alert, Dan doesn't make it.
Dan doesn't make it. In a world.
Yes. I think there's been like 5 of these movies where Dan doesn't make it. They've all come out like really recently.
The sequels, yes.
And I'm not a fan. No, I think like the critics love them. But you go on Rotten Tomatoes, the viewers are not enjoying it. It's the user experience is terrible. Yeah, absolutely. 1 star.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The only thing I made was my way over to CVS to buy more bandages.
That's right.
I got a basket. Man, I got a basket of like first aid stuff in my bathroom that I just had to uncover it. It's like, I know it's back here somewhere, and it's this huge bin. I get a picture of it for you, of like, just gauze and Band-Aids and silver and antimicrobial. It's just, all right, what else what do I need to wrap up this time?
Yeah.
Ride Laugh one at Gmail and YouTube comments. Do you have a basket, a first aid kit? Is there a mountain biker's basket in everybody's home?
There must be. I just got, they always say, like, when you go to someone's house, check out their medicine cabinet, and you can like learn, a lot about this person. Anyone that stays at your place is going to be like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah, seriously. Was he serving in some sort of armed conflict? Yes. This is like some heavy duty first aid things going on here. Yeah, that's right. You take a look at my forearms, and you take a look at my shins, and it's just boy. Yeah, man, this guy must have fallen into a fault or something. Meat grinder.
Yes.
I got to tell you, we've been talking a lot about the brake levers and where we want them. Yeah. If we want them more parallel or if we want them lower. And you were saying that lower could kind of put you in that stronger position, and more parallel might be for riders that have their elbows in. And we're going to get more feedback on this because it was in last week's podcast. But I adjusted mine. They were kind of out more parallel to the ground. And based on that conversation, I wanted to be in that stronger position. I wanted my elbows out more from what Lauren Adams had suggested. And so I lowered them, and I lowered them quite significantly. And I went for a ride, and it was fine. I went for a ride at Gold Canyon. It's relatively tame there.
Yeah.
And the tech that's there isn't super fast. And so I didn't think anything of it. And then I went to South Mountain, and I started doing Central National Trail, which has a lot of tech and a lot of downhill tech, and it's chunky and it's fast depending on how fast you want to go.
Yeah.
And the levers are so low that I noticed as sometimes you're doing tech, you start getting pulled off the bike. You have to like actively be moving yourself forward.
Yeah.
I noticed that my fingers were getting pulled off of I didn't have enough finger room on the brake levers.
Oh boy.
It was really disconcerting. I stopped like mid-trail and took a tool out and raised them up a little bit so I got pretty big hands. So that's something to note, everybody. Don't
go too far
them so much that
like vertical.
Yeah, this idiot. That I'm facing the wrong direction. Yeah, it was that was eye-opening. So, but once I got them adjusted so that my fingers could grab them nicely, I felt fine.
Yeah. So it's funny that you brought that up because as you know, I continue to do research on this. And by research, I mean, just watch people riding. And I realized that the reason, and again, I can't wait to hear the viewers' comments and feedback on this, but I think one of the reasons why people might have their brake levers more parallel is for downhillers, especially. Not only are you having to use the bars up and down, but the trail is actually actively pushing the bike back into you. And so now if you think about it, if your elbows were out and that bike gets pushed back into you, now you're too far. But if you have if you are more parallel and your elbows are back,
that makes a lot of sense.
Right. You can absorb some of that. Right. So
that makes a ton of sense.
I wonder if that's why Ethan was saying he likes to have his brake levers more parallel. And maybe that's why downhillers in general, like for you and I, downhill isn't my primary thing. I consider myself an all mountain rider, and I do stand. I stand, as you know, I rarely ever sit. Even on climbs, I stand, and for me being in that stand, and I think in our class, we were talking about this being, what was it? You have low ready and then you have high ready, and I'm constantly in high ready. And so having the brake levers at my fingertips as in high ready, which means you're just very tall on the bike, makes a lot of sense.
What does high ready look like? Is that longer legs and then hinged at your hip?
Yeah.
And then low ready are you hinged at the hip, but your legs are bent?
Yeah. Very, very little hinging in a high ready, right? You have bend in your elbows and bend in your legs, but it's a very slight. And then the reason why it's called high ready is because you're getting ready to do something. You can easily drop down. You can hinge at the hip, which I struggle with, but you can hinge at the hip and then really get low on the bike and start bringing your elbows out. You get a little bit more of a squat in your legs, and that's what's called low ready. So yeah, I can't wait to get the feedback from people, and we'll see where we're at. There's probably a happy medium in there where, you don't have your brake levers vertical like you had them, but we don't have them completely parallel either. It's probably a nice, maybe 45 degrees. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I felt that. I felt the bike getting pulled away from my hands.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what I was experiencing. And so that makes a lot of sense if you're going fast, that you want your hands in that power position. If you're going fast through chunk and the bike is getting knocked away from you,
right,
then your power position is going to be like that push-up position kind of, with your arms probably more in because of where you are on the bike. It's very interesting. Whereas slow speed tech,
right,
or a steep, right, then
you want your elbows out
position.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, it's the more that we learn about mountain biking, the more complicated it seems to get. It's like, what? I gotta think about all this stuff. Like, wait, do I want my elbows? Yeah. Can we just ride?
Well, look, we could just go ride for sure.
Yeah, right.
And I think you and I are kind of set it and forget it guys. You know what I mean? Like neither of us are like dialing in our suspension all the time, or, Stick knows all about the suspension, and, and guys are, messing with the 1 PSI of pressure on your tires, and,
yes.
Just changing linkages on your suspension and doing the flip chips all the time. Like for me, it's like, this seems good. I'll just ride.
Yeah, let's go with this. Yeah.
But you get to a point when you're riding where someone's like, hey, this could make you 1% more confident. This could make you 5% faster. This could make you, 3% more comfortable, more flow. And that's where all this nuance comes in. And while it's small, when you're riding like high level trails, or you're just starting to advance your riding, you're like, yeah, free speed, more confidence. You're like, yeah, okay, I will try the flip chip. I will try adjusting my suspension. I'm interested in this now. So all of a sudden you start hitting ceilings, and then you're like, well, but I can get past the ceiling with a little bit of a mechanical change.
Yeah.
That's not even fitness related. It's not even skill related. Just a mechanical change might make me a better rider. That's pretty tempting.
Yeah. What's hard, Danny, is that I love the set it and forget it, because you're right. That was exactly how you and I are. We are a set it and forget it. But the kind of riding that we were doing in the set it, forget it era, that time period was very, like, the extremes weren't really that crazy. Right? Our extremes now are really insane. And so to expect that you don't have to change anything at all, and you could just stay in the same body position, or have the same suspension, or have this, like, that's not going to work for every case, because the opposite end of that is so different. The slabs are so much steeper. The jumps are so much bigger.
Yeah.
So now suspension makes a difference. Now PSI makes a difference. Now body position makes a difference. So as much as I would love to like not make it complicated, if you want to advance to the next level, these are all things that actually matter. And if you are someone that is struggling and you are having, like, you're crashing a lot right now, well, that set it and forget it isn't working, right? We gotta really get, get low or get forward, or all the extremes have to happen,
Right. Right. I talked about changing my handlebar with a little bit more rise. You were like, well, be careful of the back sweep, because you don't want it pushing you back too far. We're trying to be forward, chin forward, right? We're trying to not go too far back.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's all this little nuance of what's going to be optimal here. And for any listener that's, just into mountain biking or been mountain biking for a long time, some of these little changes can make a big difference in just how much fun we have on the trails. And that's what it comes down to, is how much fun do we want to have? And it's all of it. We want to have all the fun. We want all the confidence. We want all the flow.
All of it. Yes.
And we're worthy of it. We are all worthy of it. There's no reason that we can't all have all the fun and flow and joy and abundance.
Yes.
You said a really interesting term, which was, and maybe I already forgot it, but it was something along the lines of, before we started riding the harder tech, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember what the term you said?
I said something about the era of a riding that we're.
Yes. The era of our riding. And so now I'm thinking that we can set a Ride and Laugh timeline, and everyone could have their own Ride and Laugh timeline. But for you and me,
yes,
like maybe BP, before progression, before BT, before tech. You know what I mean? Like, there was riding when we were just like chill, and then we started to push the envelope. There was a line there.
Yeah.
That and so everything before that was just like, just going out for fun, just riding, just like getting tired.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, let me see if I can kind of get over this. Let me see if I can jump this. Let me see. And so that we got the progression bug. Oh, maybe it's before progression bug. That would be B, P, B.
BPB.
You don't like that? You don't like bug?
Wait, so wait, what was the thing that changed everything for you? What was the moment?
What was the line?
Yeah, what was the line? Like where the timeline went from like BC to, AD or whatever, like
Yeah.
what was that? What was that line?
Well, I will tell you the line, and you actually already know what it is. So when I tell you, I think you're going to agree with me.
Okay.
But listeners, rideandlaugh1@gmail, YouTube comments. Have you had that moment?
Yeah.
And what should we call that? That when you go from just being a mountain biker to wanting to progress, whether that be in your climbing or tech or jumps, or when you go from just someone who rides bikes to like a mountain biker, to real progression.
You said that weird, but yes.
Yes, I did say that weird because I don't want to insinuate that someone
You're not a mountain biker.
We mountain biked for years and years and years, and we were absolutely mountain bikers and we loved it.
Right.
So they're not necessarily linked. You don't have to, and we have a lot of listeners. I've gotten lots of comments we've seen of people that are not chasing progression. They are just going out for the joy of a ride and nature and all the things that mountain biking can give you, the scenery and the camaraderie and the exercise and
yes,
all without taking the chance, all with like minimizing the chance of hitting the dirt. So, there's that balance of, progression's fun, but falling is not. And that's something that we've been talking about a lot lately. And we will again, because we have comments from the last episode.
Yeah.
So the line in the sand, I believe, was Dane's drop at Mount Penn.
Bam.
Right. Yeah,
yes,
right?
yes. Yeah. Dane's drop, for those of you that are not in the Pennsylvania area, Dane's drop is located on a trail that's called Dane's Run and is about 3-foot drop. And you and I rode around this thing for years before we rode with a guy named Chris. Love Chris. And he was like, you guys could be doing this. And we're like, what? And he towed us in, and holy crap, that changed everything for us. Danny, I would like to add a second line. And here's why. Because the first line for us, for me at least, was XC. Like we did 4 or 5 years of just XC riding as mountain bikers. Then we had that Danes drop. We went to Enduro, where we started doing more drops and more jumps and more things like that. The age that we're in now, the last 2 years, is the age of sessioning, where we're actually actively stopping and checking out features. We never did that. Even after the Danes Run drop, we would just kind of blow through stuff. Maybe you would stop to look at something, hey, do we do it or do we not do it? Now you and I are actually taking minutes, 15, 20 minutes, walking a feature and studying it, and we're sessioning. That's a whole different kind of riding.
Yeah, that's true. That is a different kind of riding. And I think you could probably look at all of these rides based on what shoes we were wearing. XC shoes, right? To an all mountain shoe, to an enduro shoe with a rubber sole, because we're walking around so much, looking at everything.
Yes. Oh, that's a really good point.
Yeah. So sessioning is it. I mean, the mountain biking has so much, and then, but you also get to the point, some of these high level slabs at Mount Penn, when we haven't ridden them in a while, we'll stop and look at it.
Yeah.
And then the next week or 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, if you're riding them all the time, you're like, let's just hit it. It starts, it's just all of a sudden, it just starts becoming part of the ride, and there's a lot of feeling out here where in Arizona where I was like, I got to look at this. I got to look at this. I got to look at this. And then eventually I got it. And then it's just part of the ride.
Yeah.
And that level up is so cool.
Yeah, it really is. It's
so much fun.
Is. Yes. Yeah. I know.
All right. What else do we need to put on our mountain bike timelines? It's kind of a fun.
Yeah.
And where else do we go? Yeah. I mean, and then I think for some people, racing is going to be on their timeline, right? When they got into racing or when they got out of racing.
That's
you ride certain friends that you're riding with, and what the group is into. When you start getting into bike parks, that could be another thing. When we started because we were anti-bike park for a long time.
Yeah.
All these things unlock something. Maybe a trip. Maybe you got to Whistler for 10 days and you come back and you're like, I'm a different rider now. I've gotten a confidence boost from trips. I used to come back from Arizona and ride Pennsylvania, and I was more confident because the riding out here is so gnarly. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say one thing, and let's be a little bit cautious in how we reflect on the word timeline, because timeline would assume that you're moving forward all the time. And there is definitely a case to be made for going back to something else. And that doesn't mean that you've gone backwards. It's like sometimes, because of an injury or just because of where you are in your life, you might return back to, an more XC style riding. Maybe sessioning wasn't working out for you. Maybe you're not enjoying that, or your friends have moved on to something else. And so, just because we're saying timeline, and it doesn't mean that we're going backwards. It just means that what are you into right now? And I think that's our point, is what are we into? And that's been changing for us.
Right. Oh, buying an e-bike, that's going to change things around. Getting a, right.
Before e-bike, after e-bike. Yes. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Curious what that's going to look like for sure.
Yeah.
Dirt jumpers, bike parks before and after Phoenixville Bike Park for you and for me, like that place really helped you unlock jumping to a level. So everyone's going to have their own timeline. And I think that's an excellent point, that it's not linear. And this is something that we used to say on the show all the time. And I'd like to get back to it, because this is something I've been struggling with, is that progression is not linear.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're feeling really good and we're conquering all these features, and then maybe you have a couple setbacks. And that doesn't mean that you're less of a rider. It just means where you are at that moment. And sometimes those setbacks are the backward steps so that you can run forward and jump further.
Yeah.
And another analogy, a similar analogy, is that, right, you got to pull back the arrow on the bow.
Ooh.
And so whether in riding or in life, sometimes you got to pull backwards to be able to shoot that arrow forwards.
Oh, I love that, Danny. Oh, look at you. Stop it right now with the arrow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So when things get hard in life, it's like, hey, maybe you're just pulling the arrow back, because things are about to get way better. This is the path. This is the journey. Don't resist. Don't judge it. Let it go. These are emotions that I've been working through. As people know that have been listening to the podcast, Sage and I had a 14-hour conversation right before the pod started, where he gave me so much good advice. Unfortunately for me, the Trail Sage, I didn't realize the Trail Sage hourly counter was on. So I actually owe Sage about $27,000 in professional coaching. Money well spent. Let me tell you, money well spent.
Let me tell you, I love the arrow. I love the pull back the arrow. Let's just hope we're all hitting the target, because, oftentimes we're pulling this sucker back and, man, holy crap, do we miss? And when you miss hard. Holy crap. Yeah.
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 In my case, I feel sorry for the target, because this thing's getting pulled back taut, man. I mean, I got like a full body size bow and arrow. Like, I got my feet up on this thing. I'm pulling this thing so far back. I'm about to launch a harpoon. I'm about to be a dead whale. It's D-Day for Moby Dick. Let me tell you something, man.
Yeah.
The amount of AI animation that we would have in this episode already.
Yes, please. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. We got to figure this out. You got to figure this out.
Oh,
I know. So good.
So good.
I've been thinking about this, and it goes right along with what we're saying, the gap versus the gain. When we look at the gap, when I'm looking at the falls that I've had recently and the things that I'm worried about now and the things that I can't do because I have this fear, or that I've had these falls, versus the gain, versus looking back at what I already have done, looking back at how far I've already come and all the things I've already accomplished. Boy, that feels so much better to zoom out and look back at what we've already done on the bike or in life. What have we already done? What have we already accomplished? What has already worked out for us? Everything always works out for us. So zooming out and just being like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
This is going to work out.
Yeah. I mean, goes right in line with the timeline, just look back on that timeline, literally. And
exactly.
You can see. Yeah,
exactly.
Full circle. Yep.
Yes.
Good stuff, Danny.
Yes. All right. So before progression bug, is that what we're going with?
No, that's what you're going with. I think our listeners are going
like it.
Yeah, our listeners are going to come through here.
I need something better.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need something better. Okay.
Before progression.
All right. It's not, you don't want to call it a bug. You're not a fan of the bug. You're concerned that the bug could get squashed.
Okay.
It doesn't, right? It sounds like a flu, and you think it sounds like you're like, we got sick with the progression bug. Is that what you're concerned? Or
maybe, yeah. Interesting.
All right. We're going to have to workshop this one a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. I'll think about it, and our listeners will come through, because they do. We get great comments. Our listeners.
Oh boy.
Ride Laugh listeners. If you're listening to this podcast, you are one of the real ones. You are special. Yes. 5 stars. Except for the one person that gave us a 1-star review. Everyone else.
That guy.
5 stars.
Yeah.
What's up with that guy?
Seriously.
Don't be that guy. Just turn it off. We're not for everybody.
Anti-progression.
Who are we not for? Yeah. If you're anti-progression, if you're anti-fun, if you're anti-Stoke, go ahead and turn this off right now and never listen again.
That's right. Absolutely.
But our listeners are the real ones. Our listeners are fantastic. And so gratitude. And if you're listening and you haven't already, please give us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening, podcast platform. Tell your friends, forward us to your friends, and give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Watch to the end. Give us a comment. RideLaugh1@gmail.com. You can send us videos or pictures of your bikes or anything that you want to talk about. Yeah. It's a longer form way. And I really encourage, especially, we're going to be talking about time for a mountain bike reset, crashes, grace, e-bikes on tech, and riding like it's your job, which is episode 25 of season 2. And if you are not listening or watching the YouTube, I encourage everyone to go back on this episode in particular and read the comments, because man, the comments were awesome.
Yeah.
This was a very raw, emotional podcast. Sage and I were both kind of exposing some of our mountain bike insecurities and some of the things that we've been through in life. And the feedback was awesome. And a lot of people reached out to us, even on a personal level. And the general gist of how to deal with my constant falling and lack of, it was affecting my excitement to get on the bike. Yeah. The fact that I've been hitting, my body's like in constant recovery.
Yeah.
And I feel like the general theme that everybody was giving to me and to us and to each other is take the pressure off, go on some easier rides, and go on some solo rides.
Yeah.
Nathan at Ride Reactive said, just go out, just you in the mountain. Like, rides with friends are great, but just go out with you in the mountain and ride your pace and ride your speed and feel good. And similar comments from so many people. Jeff Windsor sent me a really beautiful text saying, hey, when I moved here, like, I kind of went through a period like that. And he ended up getting an XC bike and riding that at some chill, more mellow trails, the South Mountains. So instead of always going with the big bike onto the big features,
right?
Let me just try to do a ride where I'm riding a little bit faster, getting a little bit stronger, but it's the easier trails, and just take the pressure off. And I thought those were really awesome messages.
Yeah. I was so touched by everyone's comment, and the thing that resonated the most with me was, and it's what we talk about on this podcast all the time. We're in this together, Danny. And by together, it's not just you and me. Yeah. It's all of us, right? And we're making that connection, and us sharing these personal stories, and then not people making us feel uncomfortable or weird about it, but saying, yo, I've been there. Yeah. I'm going through that too, or I went through that, and the advice is great. And it's, people giving us different advice on how to handle it. But the point for me was just like that compassion and understanding, what was just so special for me. And man, thank you guys. That was really awesome. It was really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. The mountain bike community is just amazing. The mountain bike friendships. I know anyone that's listening and you have some mountain bike friends, Vaughn, another one that sent me a really sweet message. Like, hey, anytime you need to talk, let me know. I'm here. I'll come over at midnight, and it's just like, yeah, I mean, just good people. Yeah. Like, a little late. I'm done talking at 11:30. I hope Shoot, man. By the time you're my age, I don't know about you, Sage. Is your bedtime getting earlier and earlier?
Yes. It totally is. Yeah. You can come at midnight. I'll be in bed. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be sleeping. You can listen to my dreams and let me know if I'm saying anything weird. So, absolutely. But that's the kind of person he is. Yeah. He's just like, I think he was saying that I've done this for other people. Like I I'm here for you. And, but you know, it's just like mountain biking just tends to attract like really great people. And it's one of the things that we love about this podcast and about the community is just like when you meet people that are riding, like we all have this like wonderful passion in common. And yeah, mountain bikers are really, really great. We got a comment from Anthony T, and he says, like some of your comments already said, throttle back and enjoy the flow. Let your mind reset on some solo rides to remove the expectations you put on yourself, which is so true. Those expectations for me, I know I put my pressure on myself. My friends don't care if I walk a feature or not.
Yeah.
But Anthony goes on to say, I'm a few years older than you guys. And to me, riding is a spiritual journey that ebbs and flows. So find your joy in the blessing that it gives. I love to get radical, but I'm learning to take joy in all phases of riding, which helps me appreciate my personal progression. And I just thought that really was beautiful.
Yeah. You know what I love about that is just like, and this is what's great about mountain biking, right? It's like we just talked about, like, you know, the errors, you know, the errors that we were going through, you know, like the sessioning and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you can do the 50-foot slab and the big drop and the big jump, but like, there's also this whole other part of mountain biking, the fitness spot of it. Like you and I were talking before this pod began about going to Gold Canyon. Well, that may not have the big drop and blah, blah, blah. Certainly there are trails that are more difficult than others, but that is a very XC. And when I say XC, I mean just like black tech level XC, just really nasty, hard climbs. And it's like finding joy in that challenge, you know, the fitness challenge. You know, we don't have to be throwing ourselves off of these boulders and you know, riding a skinny that's 50 foot off the ground. Like you can challenge yourself in other ways until you're ready to come back. And I love what Anthony's saying there about just like finding joy in whatever it is that you're doing, you know, good stuff. Thank you.
Yes. And that's he used the word spiritual, and that's where it is.
Yeah.
Is that finding joy, is that what is here for me right now. And if I'm thinking about a ride that has features in it that scare me and I'm not excited, then that's not where my soul is pointing me. My soul is pointing me to go and ride something that I'm comfortable on. And then let everything come in perfect timing. You know, it's for me, I get this feeling that if I did something before, I should be able to do it again.
Yeah.
And then I put that pressure on myself. And now I'm thinking about a feature at 3 a.m. when I get up to take a leak and I try to get back to sleep. And it's going to be literally 12 seconds out of a 3-hour ride, but that's what my brain locks in on. It's frustrating.
How about this? How about like when you and listen, I'm so guilty of this, where it's like you wanted to do something and, you know, the ride ends up like, and then this like group forms. It's like that you get invited on this group ride and you're like, oh, that's not really what I wanted to do. Yeah. You know, I really wanted to do this. Yes. How about you just let it go and let that ride be what it's supposed to be, instead of being like, oh, I don't want to go here. You know, this place is, you know, this, and I haven't had a good experience here, or this is more XC and I wanted to do this. How dumb. Like you've already labeled that ride as not being successful. You've already labeled that ride as not being fun. And oftentimes what happens is when I let go of all of that and I go on that ride, it ends up being way better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's resistance versus surrender.
Right.
We surrender to what's here and we go with the flow, and exactly what's happening is what's best. And we trust that. Or we resist. This isn't what it should be. And anytime that should word comes out, this shouldn't be I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't be scared. You know, talking about my personal, and I've said this before on the podcast, and sometimes I move away from these sorts of things, but the way that I feel better is that I'm going to deal with that feature when I get to it. I'm not going to give it power over me right now to keep me awake or to make me anxious. I will deal with it when I get to it. And because we really don't know, I can't count how many times I've been worried about a feature and then we don't even ride that trail.
Yeah.
Or I just get to it and I feel great and it's nothing. It's no big deal. So you just don't even know. Give yourself the grace of being able to trust your future self, right? That you're going to be able to decide when you get to it. Yeah. And the same thing in life. The more that we worry, the more that we resist, this shouldn't be this way, the more that we suffer.
Yep.
So as I mentioned before, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome stuff. And just thank you to everybody that's reached out and continues to reach out, and just, the support of the mountain bike community and how cool everybody is, and all the people that I've met here, but all of our listeners that, people that I haven't met, that we haven't met, but we love mountain bikers and we love helping people, and it's, flowing the bike, flowing life. There's just so many synchronicities between our sport and life. Mountain biking provides so many challenges, and but at the end of the day, we're doing it for fun. We're doing it for fun and excitement and connection, and I love it. So
judgment-free zone. That's what it is, bro.
Yes.
Yep. And to everyone that is going through something, because we got a few comments like that, you're not alone.
Yeah.
We're all in this together.
I really didn't know how that podcast was going to turn out. When I listened back to it, I was really, really pleased. And when I saw the comments, I was like really, really pleased and really touched. And I said, if this helps one person, if my experience helps one person, then it's worth it to me. I want to share.
Yeah.
Because it was very personal. And we did get comments. We did get feedback of, hey, this is what I needed. This is helpful. And so I just gratitude and thank you for for everyone that wrote in and was vulnerable in that way as well. So another thing that we have talked about recently, I think even on that episode, was the e-bike progression and whether or not a heavy, Rob Drew had kind of like he said that the weight of a full power e-bike would not necessarily translate your skills to a lighter trail bike. And to me, that was like really disappointing, because that's one of the main reasons I want an e-bike. I want to be able to session more downhills and improve skills, and among other things. And so we asked great listener and friend Jeff Jackson, and he's an e-bike guy, and he's also a rider that we really respect. And Jeff wrote, great pod, guys, very raw and meaningful discussion. As far as using an e-mountain bike to supercharge progression, I believe it wholeheartedly. It's as simple as more reps equals more progression. The point I always make is that most professional enduro riders have e-mountain bikes so they can get more laps in, fine-tune line choices, and test out features. And then he goes on to say that he's unlocked tough climbs with his e-mountain bike, where then he goes back and he's able to do it on the analog as well. So that's music to my ears, man. That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah. I do. Semantics matter. And I don't think that Rob Drew said it wouldn't. I think what he was trying to tell you was like, if you want to get better, then use the bike that you're going to be using to get better.
That's true. And practice your skills. I think he was trying to encourage me to practice body position and skills, and not just say, new bike will fix this. Okay, what if I just buy a new bike instead of practicing? Yeah. You're absolutely right. And thank you for that clarification. Rob's like probably steaming, throwing sourdough around his kitchen right now. That's not what I said.
Damn it. 1 star.
I just wasted $75 of sourdough throwing this delicious bread all over my kitchen in anger. Yeah.
I know. Now we know. Rob. Yeah. Okay. I love what
now, if you see broken windows near Rob's house, and there's sourdough outside, I apologize. That's my fault. Yes.
Yeah. Love what Jeff is talking about. It's something that I think you and I experienced that with the e-bikes. I mean, the progression that we felt on those jumps, being able to do the jumps over and over and over and again. Here's what I will say, because I did not enjoy the e-bike on tech, and I've gotten so many comments about you'll get used to it. Here's one thing that I wasn't able to get used to, and I've ridden an e-bike at this point so many times, with all the demos and all that stuff, on everything, tech and jumps.
You feel like you've had enough demo days on tech.
Oh yeah.
Okay, on an e-bike.
I'm lucky in that I'm one of those folks that doesn't need a lot of time to get warmed up on something. Like if you give me a new bike, within a day or two, I'm pretty comfortable on that bike. There might be some nuances here and there, but I get comfortable with things very quickly. My point is, the one thing that I could never get comfortable on, and that never translated, was power delivery. And so, yes, it's great for getting back up to a climb and being able to session. But when I'm working on a specific move, and when I mean move, I'm talking about a slow tech feature. I'm not talking about high speed.
Right.
That power delivery is not translatable onto an analog bike. The sheer fact that you can't half crank, there's no resistance coming backwards on the half crank. And then when you do crank forward, when that power gets delivered, really makes a difference. And the last thing that I'll say is that the e-bike does not shut off when you press the brake. And so it continues to move forward as you're pressing the brake, which is another very uncomfortable feeling. Do you get used to it? Yeah, you might get used to that, right? And you might get better at how that goes. But does that translate to making you better on the analog bike? It does not, because they're completely two different animals. And so though in that aspect, in that very small aspect, it does not translate, in my opinion.
Yeah, really excellent points for someone who's only been on an e-bike a handful of time. I mean,
handful? Come on, bud.
Well, how many times have you been on an e-bike?
Oh man, we did the pivot ride. We demoed that Levo for at least 3 days. I demoed the Levo 4 for a couple days. Like, oh man.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to ride so many different e-bikes. Yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah.
Still just a handful. I mean,
all right, 2 hands.
I mean, this is not why people are tuning in to argue the semantics of what a handful means. That was not my point. I was about to give you a compliment of how intuitive you are and what an amazing, an amazing coach you obviously must be, because you're so tuned into bikes.
Yes.
And you're arguing with me about the handful.
God damn it, dude.
Now give me some sourdough. I'm going to throw it out the window. Yeah. I'm getting as angry as Rob Drew never got in my imagination. Rob, I hope you don't mind if we put you in the AI animation of you throwing sourdough around the trail. Poor Rob. He's like, why am I riding with this guy again? Do they need to mention me? Yeah. Do they need to mention me on the podcast?
Rob, call me up.
Yeah. Call Sage to complain. Absolutely. Excellent points. I do wonder what you think, and Ride Laugh 1 at Gmail and YouTube comments for our e-bikers. What if you have the power off on a move that you want to practice?
Oof. Yeah. Wow.
That's too heavy. I mean, not on a climb. Obviously, that the weight is just like it's too onerous on some of these bikes. I mean, the lightweight e-bikes are like in the maybe low 40-pound range at the lightest. Mid 40s, and then the heavy bikes are 55, 60 pounds. So, but I mean, if you were practicing like a tech move that was down or flat, could you turn off the motor?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know that we have to get into the nit and grit details of it. You know, I think the general consensus, and I agree, is the e-bike is good. The e-bike is good. You know, it is going to improve you as a rider. I mean, I'm specifically picking out a very small instance of where it doesn't translate, but that doesn't mean that I'm not getting better as a rider. I'm just saying that that's not going to make you better on the analog bike. You know, the overall, I mean, it's going to be awesome. It really is.
It could add to your confidence. Like, even though that riding that tech is different with power kicking in than analog, than just your legs. If you ride something and you're in the right body position and you're balanced, and it's still a bicycle, it could still tip over, like you can still go over the handlebars. Yeah. So if you're riding it, and even though the power might be different, the technique might be a little bit different, you can do it on your e-bike. I would guess that if you can do it on your e-bike and you go back on your analog bike, you're going to know that I feel like 70 or 80% sure that I can do this because I've done it on my e-bike.
Exactly. Yep.
Great listener and YouTuber Denny Giannetti wrote in a absolutely hilarious comment about e-bikes. He is very pro e-bike.
Yes.
And he talks about having he said his e-bike is very heavy. It's mostly made of lead and rhodium, which I guess is very, very heavy things. He said it's about 60 pounds and he throws it around. He got used to it.
Yeah.
But he goes on to say the main benefit of any e-bike is keeping you fresh for the technical aspects that you want to get better at. Simply put, you can ride, practice, and session so much more.
Yeah.
And then he makes the point of adding the weight to the bike, and then it's kind of like a baseball player adding the weighted donut and taking practice swings, and then you take the donut off.
Yeah.
It feels lighter.
Ooh. Yes. Oh, we're full of good analogies today. Stop it.
Yeah. And he also says, buy the damn e-bike. LOL. And he texts me like once a week. Buy the e-bike. What are we doing here? Buy the bike. Yeah. He said, as a member of the e-bike committee, the only excuse not to own one is simply cost. Totally understandable. And, and he goes on, and Dennis's comments are always great and insightful. I thought it was funny that he's on the e-bike committee, certainly on the Ride Laugh e-bike committee. Dennis, Shelley, Jeff Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Let us know if you want to be on the committee. Yeah. I'm not sure what the committee is going to do. What's the committee going to do? Just convince me to buy an e-bike rather than later?
Yeah, they're going to knock on your door at midnight with Vaughn and tell you to buy an e-bike. God damn it. Trying to sleep.
Committee meeting right now.
Dan's house.
Emergency committee, e-bike committee meeting. Yes. Dan, get up.
Aye.
So our buddy Nikki Shreds, who now goes by Stoic MTB, we were talking about a male trail Karen. What is that called?
Yes.
And I think we were pointed to Jerry, and Nick said that a Jerry is something that it's a slang term in skiing and snowboarding culture that describes a clueless person, often to the detriment of those around them. He said there's actually a magazine in the late 80s with a panel dedicated to Jerrys and their antics. And he said that they're still on social media. So we'll have to look that up, the Jerry's channel. But to call it a trail Karen, a Jerry, he suggests may not be accurate. And Nick says a trail Karen is a trail Karen no matter what the gender. So he wants to call all trail Karens, male or female, Karens.
Interesting.
What do you think?
I gotta tell you, this guy,
Jerry?
you know what? I'm indifferent to the name. I'm okay with calling everybody a Karen. What's most impressive is Nick's knowledge of like so many things.
Everything.
I mean, just like this guy is wise beyond his years. Unbelievable, this guy.
He really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel a new handle coming, by the way. It's going to be like, I have no idea. It's going to be a new.
Yes, right. Yes. I like how he went to Stoic MTB, which is very spiritual and, like Greek philosopher. Yeah. And then his comment is like, no. I know about Jerry's.
Let me tell you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Your future self, because Nick coined that, your future self and spirituality aside, I'm going to tell you about Jerry's and trail Karens. And,
that's right.
He's got something for everyone. Absolutely.
Yes, he does. Thank you, Nick.
Yes, absolutely. And Sage, let's move into our mountain bike gratitudes of the week.
What a terrible transition. What?
Speaking of Jerry's.
Oh gosh, 1 star. 1 star on that transition. I will acquiesce and is that the right word? Oh, it sounds very fancy, but I will do my mountain bike gratitude.
Very good.
Oh,
yes. And please don't review us based on that one transition. Usually we have pretty good transitions. I feel like
that would be really harsh.
A pretty smooth podcast.
Yeah, that would be really harsh. Yeah. Oh my God.
The transition into the mountain bike gratitudes of the week was really lame this week. 1 star.
What? Yeah. Seriously. Okay. Anyway, listen, mountain bike gratitude. Mountain bike gratitude is a real special one. And it's something that I may have used this in the past, but I don't care because I could use this every week and it'd be awesome. I went to Mount Penn this weekend. It was a freaking awesome ride. But as you know, it's been fall. We got all these leaves down and someone had come and blown out a bunch of these trails, and listen, wow. I don't want to get into an argument about whether, blowing out a trail is good or bad I get it. But Mount Penn is like pretty rocky. So even if you expose the trail, there's no dirt. It's like pretty much all rocks and rocks mixed in with, anyway.
I just think for anyone in a different part of the world, you have to explain what happens in the Northeast of the United States and much of the country and much of the world, I'm sure, around this time of year. You're talking about there's just being leaves all over the trail to the point where you can't really see where to go.
Right. And someone
someone goes through with a leaf blower.
Exactly.
Which is either on a bike or walking and blows the leaves off of the trail.
Yes. It's time consuming.
It's a time consuming thing. It's incredibly generous. It's like, talk about like adding to the Stoke of the trails of that trail system, right. Like, hey, you can now see this trail. You can now ride this trail.
Yeah.
Trail builders, trail advocates will say, leave the leaves on there. They disintegrate. They turn into dirt. But a place like Mount Penn, it's all rocks.
It's all rocks.
Anyway.
It's all rocks. Like I said, I don't want to get into the debate of whether it's good to blow out trails. I appreciated it. And somewhere like Mount Penn can handle it. And as you said, these volunteers, they don't get paid for this. So they're sacrificing an hour or 2 hours to do this. And that is my gratitude to the two groups that are up in Mount Penn and to all the volunteers. But, I don't know all the volunteers, but I do know the two groups, Burke's Trail Works and Bamba. I can't say enough about these two groups. They do a fantastic job, and they made my ride that much more enjoyable. So thank you to both of those trail advocates.
Yeah. Gratitude to everyone working on your trails. We talked about it last week with Sean at Sticks and Stones and just, volunteers. They just had the Halls Enduro here, and a whole bunch of our buddies were racing in it, and there was people out, volunteers out working on those trails for weeks before. And I'm sure at every race, it was the same thing. They're out there working on the trails and getting them tuned up, and it's just for the love of mountain biking. So yeah, it goes back to the mountain bike community just being so awesome.
Yeah. You were talking about the ruts at the beginning of the podcast, like someone's going out there and fixing all these ruts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they are. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. They are.
So donate.
It's funny because at the systems like Haws that are like really mountain bike specific, and there's organizations that work on them, those sorts of things get fixed. And then you have a place like South Mountain that's owned by the city. Yeah. And they don't have an organization, and those things don't get fixed. Like if you just I always think allow mountain bikers to come and work on your trails. Yeah, they might optimize it for bikes, but they're also going to fix your trails. They're going to fix drainage. Like mountain bikers are love trails. Yeah. It's a free resource for most parks. If you just allow people to ride their bikes there, it's going to be better for everybody.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Donate, support, spread the love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My mountain bike gratitude of the week goes to someone very, very special in my life, and that's my youngest daughter, Summer. She's 12 years old, and she is so wise. And it's not just the wisdom of a child. Summer and I, we just connect on a very, very cool level. She's really, really insightful, really bright young lady. And I had the pleasure of just going out to breakfast with her this morning. She didn't have school. And I think there's really something cool and special when you can talk to your children about things that you're struggling with. Like mom and dad don't always have it all together. Yeah. And so I was just talking to Summer about some of these things that I'm struggling. And I said, I don't know if you've noticed, but Daddy's fallen off his bike quite a bit lately, and I've stopped having as much fun, and I get nervous on things that I didn't used to get nervous on. And what are your thoughts? What do you think? Yeah. And I'm so grateful to have such a great relationship with my daughters, both of my kids, Summer and Ella. They're both wonderful people, and I love spending time with them. But this morning was really special because I kind of made myself vulnerable to Summer, and she was like, giving me really great advice. And I could tell that it meant a lot to her also. Yeah. To be able to do that for me, that, we're all here to support each other, and sometimes that relationship, that parent-child relationship takes on a little of a different flavor, and being able to say, look, I'm your dad, but I'm also a person, and I'm your dad, but we can also be friends. And I love her so much, and I'm so proud of the person that she is and that she's becoming. So my mountain bike gratitude of the week goes to my wonderful daughter, Summer.
I love that. And Summer, I mean, dude, she is so awesome. I've had the pleasure of meeting both your daughters, and they're both wonderful people. Kids are, man, they have such a unique view of the world, right? They're not weighted down by all the struggles, and they don't have all the pressure. And so the thoughts and ideas that they have are just so pure. And they're just like, they're coming from and I'm going to use this word, and it's not meant to be negative. They're coming from a simple place. It's not overburdened and complicated, right? And so when they give advice, it often comes from a place of love and heart. And so I would encourage everyone to do that. I've always raised, both Janet and I raised both our children we didn't try and again, I'm going to use a word here, and I forgive me, but like, we didn't try and dumb it down. We didn't dumb it down for our kids. This is how it is. We tell them how it is, and we let them process that. Now, obviously, we're not, getting them involved with finances and stuff like that. I mean, you curb what you're going to say, but give it to them real and watch what happens. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. What's our mountain bike tip of the week?
Mountain bike tip. And I got to tell you, man, I was kicking myself. At this Mount Penn ride, I go and fill up my tire, as I always do. I always fill up my tires before every ride. And I go out on the trail and immediately
By fill up, you mean inflate?
Inflate my tire.
Yes. Okay.
And immediately my front tire within like the first 2 minutes is almost completely flat. And I'm like, what? I was like, I better not have a hole in these tubes. I mean, in the tire, I'm going to be really upset because I just got these tires. And it turns out that I thought that I closed my valve core, the valve all the way, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And the reason why I didn't close it all the way is because all that stands and orange and whatever the tire sealant that's in there had clogged up. Yes, had clogged up my valve core. Well, guess who didn't have a valve core? I didn't have a valve core, and I always carry a valve core. Luckily enough.
The actual little core that you can pull out and replace.
Yes, I don't know if you can
so
see that.
If you're watching on the YouTube, Sage is showing.
Yes.
So to press the valves,
right.
They get the little button that you push. Anyone that's newer to mountain biking, then if you have a press the valve and you unscrew it, you can push a little button that lets air out.
Right.
But when they put the tubeless sealant in there, and sometimes the tubeless sealant gets sucked into the valve.
That's right.
And then the button no longer works, and you can't screw and unscrew it all the way because it gets like this rubbery sealant around it. Yeah.
Yes. So I get back to the lot, and who do I see? I see Evan because he's always there. Evan Kinsey, one of the nicest guy you'll ever meet. He comes right over.
And
he's
best riders.
Yeah, really is. And he's like, listen, I overheard you talking about that. I have an extra, press the valve. Now, as it turns out, I was able to take a wrench and get mine so I didn't have to use his. But man, look how tiny this is. Throw it into your pack.
Yeah.
Throw it into your pack. So go get yourself a valve core. Oh, the other thing that you do, you ever bend one of these? Oh my gosh, I've bent the.
Of course.
So carry a spare. I mean, if it's not getting clogged up with, the tire juice, you could bend it, whatever. Always carry a spare. That's the point. Yes.
It is frustrating and it can be annoying, especially on the trail. They make a little tiny tool. I know Stan's makes a little tool. You could probably, I think you can get them on Amazon also, I'm sure. But there's a little kind of tool that fits in and untwist the valve core and twist it back on really easily.
That's right.
I would put one of those in your pack also because it's like really light and it's really easy. So instead of having to use a wrench, you can just use this little tool. So Ride Laugh on Gmail and YouTube comments if you've had to use those tools on the trail, and if you know what we're talking about with the sealant getting in there, or anything else that you want to comment on today.
Hey, bring it on.
I think that's a great tip. Yeah, a lot of times the tip is just like, what happened to me this week, and how can I prevent this to happen?
That's right.
And so now you're carrying valve cores, and let me tell everyone else to carry valve cores. So
you're darn right.
Makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Great conversation, man. I love these. I love recording these podcasts with you so much. It's so much fun. There's so much good conversation, so much good tips, and room for progression, and mindset, and bikes, and life, and just being able to go with the flow, let go, surrender, trust that we're on the right path, zoom out. So much good stuff today. I really, really appreciate it. Everyone, I hope that you enjoyed this as much as you're enjoying listening as much as we enjoyed talking about it.
Yes.
So let us know, Ride and Laugh on a Gmail, YouTube comments. Certainly, please rate and subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends about Ride and Laugh. Let us know if there's anything that you want to talk about. Everyone, have a fantastic week and a great week of riding. Ride and Laugh.
I'll see you, everyone.